Holy crap, what a show that was last night. Greetings, people of the interwebs, it's Dan here, and welcome to my WrestleMania 32 recap. Now, last night was WrestleMania. It's Monday morning. I've just woken up from watching WrestleMania last night. I needed to take a night's break before I made this video because I was just trashed from all the energy that was exerted from watching Mania last night. It was ridiculous. Pre-show was good. First off, let me just get that out there. Pre-show was good. I loved how they brought Booker, Lita, and Corey Graves back into the equation. I love how Corey Graves is an analyst now for WWE Network. That's great. I love that. And also Booker T and Lita. That was amazing. And then first match of the pre-show, Kalisto versus Ryback for the U.S. Championship. Now, I loved how that match turned out because initially I thought that brute strength was going to prevail. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's Ryback just because... So I figured Ryback was going to come out champion, and because it's just brute strength versus technical ability, but this time technical ability came out on top. Kalisto used his high-flying maneuvers and his technical skill to get Ryback down on the mat to pin him 1, 2, 3. U.S. Championship still belongs to Kalisto. Great match there. They talked about some of the other matches, and then there came a tag team match in the pre-show between the Usos and the Dudley Boys. That was great. I loved how the Usos handled themselves there because they grew up admiring the Dudley Boys, but now within the last little bit, the Dudley Boys have formed a rivalry. Dudley Boys don't like them, and now thus they don't like the Dudley Boys. And, you know, the Samoan splashes through the tables were insane. I loved that. Oh, it was just a great match overall. Double super kicks to the Dudley Boys from the Usos. It was all just incredible. I loved that. Usos came out on top. And then next in the pre-show, I believe it was the final match of the pre-show. It was the 10 Diva Tag Team match, the Team Bad and Blonde versus the Team Total Divas match. And that was incredible. Actually, it was... I knew that there were better things to come after that 10 Diva Tag match. Because genuinely, like, that was just amazing. I knew the Triple Threat Divas match was going to be incredible after seeing that match. Because it wasn't just the Divas throwing themselves around like slabs of meat on display. They were wrestling. They were utilizing technical skill. Just everything worked. And that was great. That was amazing. And then there was the IC title match, the 7-man ladder match. I didn't get a chance to watch too much of this because I wasn't that interested. And from what I saw, which was probably about 2/3 of the match, it wasn't that great in my opinion. Some people are saying, oh, it was one of the best matches of the night. To me, it was just a normal ladder match. Nothing about it was too different besides, you know, Stardust getting put through a ladder and all that other stuff. It wasn't like, it was basically just someone climbs to the top of the ladder, someone else knocks them down, and then tries to climb to the top of the ladder, and then someone else knocks them down, and just, it was a little too predictable for my liking. I just didn't really like the 7-man tag match, but I did like that Zack Ryder won it. I loved the fact that Zack Ryder won it, and the fact that he won his first major championship in WWE after over a decade of being fucked by John Cena. That was great. I loved it. So yeah, Zack Ryder, hoorah. I love the fact that he won, but the match itself wasn't that great in my opinion. And then Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, the Y2AJ rivalry happened, which was absolutely insane. I loved that. That was incredible. And especially with Jericho kicking out of the Styles Clash, which is just ridiculous. And Jericho trying to steal the Styles Clash, even, from AJ Styles. That was insane. I absolutely loved that match. That was one of the best matches of the night, in my opinion, because just... oh, it was just incredible. I wanted to see maybe a phenomenal forearm mixed in there, but apart from that, really no complaints. It was incredible. I loved that match versus Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. Kind of wish AJ Styles would have won it, though. I really want Chris Jericho to win, but, you know, such is life. And then next, after that, the League of Nations versus the New Day. Now, this match started out great with New Day popping out of a giant 20-foot box of Bootios. That was ridiculous. I loved that. That was a great touch. And I love that they're using a plastic trombone instead of an innocent real one now, which is nice. And I was actually kind of pulling for the League of Nations on this one. I actually kind of wanted the League of Nations to win because I don't like the New Day. I don't know why. I don't know the exact reason. I don't like the New Day. I just don't. So I was kind of pulling for the League of Nations, especially since it was a non-championship match. So, I'm glad that the League of Nations won that. But then, oh my gosh, my inner child had a field day because HBK came out. You heard the, I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. And he came out and just, oh my gosh. And I'm like, how could this get any better? And then you hear Mick Foley's music come on. And then Mick Foley comes out. And I'm like, no, no, no. And then you hear, and no. And then Stone Cold came out. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh, my inner child just went crazy. My inner child had a meltdown because HBK, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold all came out at the same time. It was crazy. I loved it. And then they came out and wrecked the League of Nations entirely, including delivering a sweet chin, mandible claw, Stone Cold stunner combo on a couple of the members, which was ridiculous. I love sweet chin music as a finisher. I love the stunner as a finisher. It's insane. I loved that moment. That was the best WrestleMania moment of the night for me. The best WrestleMania moment, because that's where I had the most fun, was when HBK, Stone Cold, and Mick Foley came out. And then, New Day came back up because they came to, after getting knocked out by the League of Nations, they came out, tried to get these three to dance, and they had Mick Foley and HBK dancing a little bit, but then whenever Stone Cold started jigging a little bit, he delivered a quick stunner to Kofi Kingston, and then they all had just Steve Weisers just up there on the ropes. Bang, lit. They all had beers, just beers for everyone. So that was incredible. I loved it. Next was the Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose no-holds-barred street fight. Now, this is the only match of the night where I really wasn't that impressed coming out of it as I was hoping for going into it, because this match could have been so much more than it was, because you've got Dean Ambrose. This is his yard. This is his type of match, a no-holds-barred street fight where weapons are not only allowed, but they are encouraged. And, the thing is that Brock didn't even use any weapons, hardly. I mean, yeah, he used a kendo stick, maybe, but, apart from that, Dean Ambrose used a fire hydrant. Dean Ambrose used chairs. Dean Ambrose tried to use the barbed wire baseball bat. There was just, it had so much potential to be an incredible match, but it just wasn't, because apparently Brock was just giving out free Germans to everyone. And 13, I think, to be exact. And it was just ridiculous. I didn't like the way it ended. It was so promising, that match, but it just ended badly for Dean Ambrose and for a lot of people. So, that was one of the only matches where I was like, meh, it wasn't as good as it could have been, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But Ambrose did fight valiantly in that match, I'm not gonna lie. And he even kissed barbed wire, which just shows you how crazy he is. And it took a Brock Lesnar F5 onto about 6 steel chairs to get him out. But I was a little bit disappointed with that. But next came one of the best matches I have ever seen. Not just one of the best women's wrestling matches, one of the best matches I have ever seen. And it was for the newly unveiled women's title. And I love that new championship belt. It is amazing. It's incredible. And so they were fighting for this new women's championship belt. The Divas Championship was retired last night at WrestleMania, and they now have a new women's championship belt, which is insane. So it was Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha in a triple threat Divas match. Second best match of the night, in my opinion. Probably that's probably just bias, but in my opinion, second best match of the night, in all honesty. But, it started off great, some great chain wrestling going on between the three women. They were getting chucked out of the ring, they were getting hurled over the top rope. Charlotte with an insane moonsault up over the top rope to take out Sasha. That was ridiculous. Becky dove over the top rope and took out Ric Flair, which didn't work I'll explain that later. But Becky dove over the top rope and took out Ric Flair, Charlotte's dad, of course, which was ridiculous. And then Becky delivered a Beckplex from the top rope. I love Becky, by the way. I wanted her to win this so bad. I really wanted her to win this. Yeah, she nailed a top rope Beckplex. It was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And, you know, Charlotte was good as well. Charlotte, brilliant. She had a double natural selection in there on both Sasha and Becky. You know, so I thought Charlotte fought well. And it had potential to be one of the greatest matches ever. It had potential to go down in history as one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. And then Ric Flair ruined it for me. I'm sorry, but I feel like Charlotte's victory is tainted just a little bit. Because Sasha was coming back in. Sasha was trying to get back in from the pinfall that Charlotte was trying to get on Becky. And as she was trying to get back in, Ric Flair pulled on her boots and was pulling on her leg and preventing her from getting back in the ring. And it just sucked. Like, the only reason that Charlotte won was thanks to her lying, cheating scumbag of a father. I didn't like it. But the Divas match was brilliant, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of ruined by Ric Flair, in my opinion. I'm really starting to get pissed off with Ric Flair. I really am. Anyway, on to the match of the night, in my opinion. I loved this match. It was the Undertaker versus Shane McMahon Hell in a Cell match. The best match of the night in terms of action for me. It was a little bit boring to start. They were just kind of running around, not really knowing what to do, kind of delivering blows here and there and stuff. But then it got interesting. They started exchanging blows, legitimately exchanging blows, and then Taker brought in the steps and tried to slam Shane in with the steps, but you know, it didn't quite work, and Shane countered him into the steps, and they started to tire out a little bit, and it was just kind of meh. But then Shane was really tired. He was really worn out from all of the lengthy time spent inside the cell and fighting Taker for all that time, and he was just kind of getting really worn out. But then he got out of the ring, and he got a trash can. I knew there was going to be a coast-to-coast in this match. If you watched my predictions video, then you know I predicted Undertaker versus Shane McMahon match and the H versus Reigns match. And I knew there was going to be a coast-to-coast somewhere in the McMahon-Taker match. And he grabbed a trash can out from under the ring, put it in front of Undertaker, nailed the coast-to-coast. I thought Taker would have just sat up and tossed the trash can back, but no. He nailed the coast-to-coast. I started to get absolutely scared shitless with The Undertaker. Absolutely. But then Shane McMahon started to bolt cut the walls of the cell. He came up with bolt cutters and started cutting the bindings to the edge of the cell, and I wasn't sure why. And then he stumbled in, and then Taker came in and just picked him up and slammed him through the wall of the cell, and the wall of the cell fell through completely. So they got slammed through the cell. It was unbelievable. And then there was some action outside of the cell, and, you know, I mean, Taker cleared the tables. You know, Shane actually got Taker in a sleeper hold just as he was about to put him up for probably a last ride through the tables or maybe a tombstone, not sure. He got him in a sleeper hold, which was unfortunate, and then Taker had to jump off and slam Shane McMahon through the table, but he had to sacrifice his own body in order to do that. So I was really frightened for Taker at this point. And Shane O'Mac, you know, whacked Taker over the head with a heavy toolbox a couple times. They were each just worn out completely at this point. And then Shane McMahon looked up to the top of the cell, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And he started climbing to the top of the cell. And I was thinking the same thing the announcers were, which is like, no, you can't do this, no. And oh my gosh, Shane McMahon climbed to the top of the cell. He leaped down, and he did a leap of faith from the top of the cell. I knew it. I knew he was going to do a leap of faith from the top of the cell. I knew it. It wasn't in the scenario I thought, but Taker did roll out of it. I said there was going to be a leap of faith from the top of the cell, and Taker rolled out of it. I'm so happy right now. I am so happy because he tried the leap of faith from the top of the cell, 20-odd feet in the air, landed straight on the announce table, and then straight into the floor. And, you know, he actually did this to Taker. He did this. He was worn out. He had just dropped himself 20-plus feet through the table and onto the floor. And he's doing this to The Undertaker, telling him to give him more. And he did. He picked him up, took him back in the cell. Tombstone, rest in peace, pin 1, 2, 3. That's the way I thought it was going to end. Boom. I'm happy. Okay, so that was good. Taker's allowed to compete at WrestleMania again. Shane doesn't take control of WWE. He doesn't take control of Raw. But I feel like the fight for Raw is not over yet. It's definitely not over. You know, I heard some people saying, oh, well, if Shane doesn't win, then what was the whole point of this? Starting a father-son rivalry storyline. That's what it's doing. And it's great. I love this storyline. Then there was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I didn't really pay too much attention. I know that Shaq entered the Battle Royal, which was good. DDP came out, which was insane. I love Diamond Dallas Page. And he came out and competed in that match, which was great. And I know that Show and Shaq were the first two to get eliminated, which I'm so happy about because I hate Big Show. Seriously, I just don't like Big Show. And then Darren Corbin from NXT. I almost said UFC. Darren Corbin from NXT actually ended up winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is nice. You know, that's probably a push for him to get onto the main roster, which is always good. You know, also, he eliminated Kane to win, so that tells you something. If he eliminated Kane to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, that tells you something. Then Rocky came out. The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, came out with a flamethrower. And I'm like, what the hell is he doing with a flamethrower? He walked up to a banner that had his name on it and lit his name on fire, which was insane. I loved it. And then he announced that there was a new attendance record. I'm thinking he might have stretched it a little bit because I'm from that area of Texas, and I know Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, and the last time they tried to pack AT&T Stadium over 100,000, it didn't end well. It was whenever they hosted the Super Bowl about 5 years ago. It didn't end well. It really did not. And so I would be shocked if they packed it over 100,000, and I feel like they stretched it a bit whenever they said that there was 101,763 people in attendance. I really feel like they stretched it. But, you know, apparently they did, and according to Rocky, they broke the attendance record, which is all fine and dandy. But then the freaking Wyatt family. Jesus, they had to ruin The Rock's moment. Then Rocky came right back at him because Bray was kind of spitting trash out at Rock, but then Rock hit him back with the insane trash talk, talking about, oh, you're inbred Duck Dynasty bitches over here, and I'm like, oh. But it was ridiculous. I loved the little exchange between Bray and The Rock, and then they actually challenged Rock to a match, and Rock was like, hell yeah, I'll do a WrestleMania match right here, right now. And I'm like, oh, dang, Rocky in a WrestleMania match, and he beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds. Punched him a couple times, pulled him in, bang, rock bottom, pin, 1, 2, 3, boom, done. 6 seconds. And that's clearly a WrestleMania record for shortest match ever. But yeah, he beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds, and then the rest of the Wyatt family came onto him, and I'm like, oh, crap. But then, you knew it had to happen. Yes, John Cena came out. Oh my gosh, I hated it. I mean, I'm not anti-Cena, but I just don't like the fact that he came out despite the fact that everyone knows he's injured. I mean, he's only 3 months into his recovery with a 6-month minimum, and it's not kayfabe either. It is not kayfabe. So I'm just a little bit shocked that they would even have him come out with the injury that he has. But, you know, I mean, he helped Rocky, and he helped beat, you know, the Wyatt family, and that was cool. But I feel like he was a little bit pissed off at the end that it was all about The Rock, and, like, he virtually got no credit next to his entrance. I feel like he got a little bit hard done by there, but, you know, I mean, that was cool. They beat the Wyatt family, which was alright. And now the main event match of the night, which was worthy of a main event. I loved it. I love the main event match. It was H versus Reigns, WWE Championship match. It was ridiculous. This could be a video in and of itself, but I might just cram it into this one, because this video is already long as hell, so I may as well add it in. I'm going to spend all day editing this, by the way. But Reigns had his entrance, but it was after Triple H's entrance. Stephanie McMahon was up there giving her usual spiely speech and crap, and trashing the fans, saying that they're worthless and that they own them, and like, that's not the way to talk to your fans if you want to make money. It was ridiculous, and so H came out on a gigantic horse made out of oversized elephant testicles. No, actually, he came down, and he walked out to the ring with Steph. So yeah, it was alright. The entrance was pretty cool. And then Reigns came out to a bunch of pyro, and he punched the star in the middle of the stage, and it changed into something. And he made his way down to the ring. And you know, it was a good match. It was an amazing match. I absolutely loved it. Steph walked out with H, like I said. Reigns hit a Samoan drop on H. I knew it. I said in my prediction video that there would be a Samoan drop somewhere in this match. And it happened. He delivered a Samoan drop. They were going at it. It was such good fighting. It was one of those matches where you get so enthralled that you almost forget that you're like trying to review it in a way, you know? And I was just so enthralled by this match, I forgot to write down notes to review most of it. But then Reigns spears H through the barricade. That was insane. I loved it. I mean, Reigns spearing Triple H straight through the barricade was ridiculous. Stephanie was screaming at the ref to start the count, and that was just, that was annoying. Stephanie was like in the ref's face, like, start the 10 count, start the 10 count, because H had champion's advantage. If there was a count out or anything like that, he retained the title. So, I mean, like, that's the part that kind of sucked, and that's why Steph was like, start the damn 10 count. But then, you know, they get back in the ring. Reigns actually sends Triple H over the top. He was dominating the whole way through. I was going to be shocked if H came out on top, because Reigns was dominating the whole way through. But yeah, and then after he sent Reigns over the top rope, he pinned Triple H once he got back in. For Superman punch, I believe. He went down for the pin. The ref got to a 2 count. Steph pulled the ref out of the ring. That could be a DQ. And if there is a DQ, H retains the title. And like, oh my gosh, I was so pissed off with Stephanie. I genuinely was. Then, I knew this in my prediction video. I knew there was going to be man-on-woman violence in this WrestleMania. Reigns goes for a spear. H stumbled out of the way. He speared Stephanie hard. I thought it was just going to be something like a Superman punch or something. But no, he speared her. And I'm talking hard. It was great. I loved it. Whoo! Like, literally, that was the best. I loved that so much. Speared her so hard. There was a running knee counter after that from Triple H. Roman Reigns was trying to go for a Superman punch afterwards to try to finish him off. Countered with a running knee, which was alright. And then Steph, we thought she'd be down and out. And she was, but she had just enough energy to reach under the apron, pull out the freaking sledgehammer and hand it up into the ring. Good God. But yeah, she handed up Triple H's sledgehammer, and it, you know, I mean, I knew that he was going to try to use it, because if he did use it, that would mean a DQ, and that meant he retained the title. But I knew it wasn't going to end like that. I knew in front of a record crowd for a WrestleMania, it wasn't going to end like that. So I figured it wasn't going to end up like that. But then Reigns landed a double Superman punch off of the sledgehammer handoff to Triple H, and then he went off one rope. Triple H missed with the sledgehammer. Reigns ducked underneath the sledgehammer. He went off the other rope and speared Triple H so hard it knocked the sledgehammer right off him, and he pinned him 1, 2, 3 for the win. I love the fact that Roman Reigns, you know, did what he did and won the title. I feel like it might be the start of a face turn, like I said in my predictions video, because he nailed Steph with a spear. I loved that. It was just a great match overall. It was a great night. WrestleMania was amazing. You know, this is going to be a bitch to edit, and it's going to be a long as hell video, but I apologize. And yeah, that's my WrestleMania review. So if I missed anything, or if I got anything wrong, I do apologize. Please let me know in the comments. And if I remember anything else from WrestleMania, I might even, you know, post it in the comments, or maybe make another video about it. I don't know. And then, you know, I'm probably just going to go back and watch WrestleMania again, because it was that good. So yeah, I'm going to go rewatch WrestleMania on the network. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. That was amazing. That was freaking incredible. I loved it. So if you did enjoy this review, then leave a like down below. Also leave a comment. Let's have a chat. WrestleMania was amazing, so let's talk about it. And also, while you're down there, hit that little red button and subscribe so you can get email and text alerts when I upload another video. And stay tuned for more WWE content and for a big video coming to the channel very soon. Much love to you all, and I shall see you at a later date. Farewell.